It's going to be exciting, though. We're going to step into the second game ban pick. The ban's already been finished. Well, I'll leave the caster to talk about the bans and picks right away. But before we get to that, I just want to do a big shout out to our sponsors. If you're watching the stream, this entire tournament is sponsored by Trovo.live. Trovo.live is Wild Rift's official partner, and Trovo is hosting a variety of tournaments, events for League of Legends Wild Rift with a bunch of prizes for you to claim, including 30,000 Wild Core giveaway throughout the entire tournament. So without Trovo's generous support, this tournament would not be possible. If you're watching the stream right now, weekly Sunday matches and grand final for Wild Rift Asia Brawl will be streamed on Trovo exclusively. So make sure to use the link and head to Trovo right away. Now, another shout out is to Wild Rift Competitive. They're the organizer for the entire tournament. It is also the central place for all things competitive for Wild Rift. They host weekly tournaments and events, so make sure to follow them with the social links below. With that, let's quickly step into the second game, ban pick. Take it away.
Alright, Scoundrel, I got the ban picks for you. The bans were Gragas and Akali from Omega, Evelyn and Orianna by Bigetron. Sorry.
I think they Bigetron learnt their lesson with the Orianna pick. It was kind of like the skeleton key needed to unlock those team fights, and it was very impactful. Like you said, once Miss Fortune was down, they still had to worry about the Orianna, and these two team comps are shaping up now, and I love it. If this is a Shyvana lock-in, it's one of the few junglers that can keep pace with Lee, and I'd be really happy to see that.
We do get the Lee Sin again. That's Omega over there currently on the right-hand side. So we do get the Lee Sin again for impressive after a devastating game one. That will be countered by a Shyvana. Also, I spy a cannon there. The nearly at the headed towards the top side.
Just added to the game, I believe, yesterday. And we're going to head over to the Omega side point of view here as well. I actually... Believe it or not, I actually prefer the Bigetron composition this time, because what Omega have done... Yeah, well, if you look at Omega, they've basically drafted the same thing, but they don't have the wombo combo anymore. I mean, you have the ability to get the knockup with Alistair into the bullet time, but the Orianna, as I said, the Orianna was the skeleton key here, TJ.
Can I propose a theory, though? Arise has TF, and the cross-map mobility maybe makes up for it because you get a little bit more of that good macro from Omega.
And they're going for the lane stop as well. So this might be, if they're able to accelerate the game, TJ, as they did previously. Okay, so go into the lane swap, push that Baron lane turret quickly as possible, then rotate around the map with Twisted Fate. But they're going for a level 1 invade here. I mean, this is something that you do see a relative amount of in Wild Rift, but this is pretty spicy.
It's super organized. That's what's exciting me about it. 3 players stay here to steal away the buff. The Bigetron side seem to have started laning standard. We don't have their POV. We're on the Omega side.
They did lane standard. The cannon is in the Baron lane. So I don't know. Like, I would have wanted to see Bigetron look to go and get some vision of the river to at least try and sniff out a lane swap and then react to it accordingly. The problem with Kennon's wave clear is garbage, like actually garbage. and so the problem that he's going to have here is that he could just get dived, which is looking like it's going to get set up now, and he's not going to be able to clear the wave in time.
Oh no, there's a little bit of turret aggro, but it all sorts out. There are 4 Omega players underneath that turret, and all of a sudden there are 0 Bigetron players underneath the turret.
Yeah, this is why early vision wins you games, guys. You can sniff out a lane swap coming, and you can make something happen from it. And this is the perfect execution on a lane swap. Into the tower dive. Yeah, they will. They'll get this. Into the tower dive, take that first turret before 2 minutes into the game. That is disgusting.
That is... I was sure that there was going to be some kind of contest across the map from Bigetron, but they're just racing. Bigetron also trying to get a turret, which I believe they just did. We'll have to check when we get out of this replay. So it is a 1-for-1 turret trade. And I guess that's even. The 1 kill did go over to Omega there in the top side gang.
Yeah, I mean, you get the first tower gold, and they obviously get the first blood as well. And the beautiful thing about this... Sorry, carry on, yeah.
In League of Legends, we would say this was a loss for Omega because they don't have access to the early objectives in the Drakes. Do you think that's true in Wild Rift?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, this is a massive loss for no, not a loss for Omega. No, it's a loss for Bigetron because now Omega can just switch back to bot lane, and when the dragon spawns, they've got their bot laners. They've got their support and their AD carry on that side of the map. So there was absolutely no disadvantage to go for that lane swap because Dragon hadn't even spawned. So you got the first turret of the game before Dragon had even spawned, and so therefore it was just a complete net win for Omega.
I'm getting tripped up because the Omega players have smart at the end of their name. We will.
It's because they're smart players, dude. They're
we could
super
tell
smart
it's
players.
the macro.
It's the macro, baby. They're very, very. I mean, honestly, it's been impressive, and Bigetron, I don't feel. I don't know if you've got this vibe, TJ, but I just don't think they really know how to respond to this level of macro play. Here comes the TF.
Oh. Case in point, Omega TP in their mid laner, and as a result, with a stun and a silence, this will be an easy gank towards the Baron laner.
I respect the Kennen for keeping his ultimate, realizing that within the next minute, the dragon's going to spawn, and his ultimate is going to be far more important for impacting a potential dragon fight.
Sorry, I've just noticed that that Kennen player is very perilously low on battery. If he disconnects, we'll know why. As you pointed out, holding on. Do you want to take a stab at that name? Holding on to his ultimate here, not spending any summoners that he wasn't going to be able to get back or anything like that, accepting the death and being back with full cooldowns.
I'm not going to take a stab at his name, unfortunately.
Cowardice. Here's our Drake, the first Drake of the game here, and Omega do have 5s and 6s across their entire teams. We will have full ultis. Here's the engage. Deep dive in. Tamelapse trying to flash out, but they're just destroyed by the slicing maelstrom. No bullet time will be cast in this fight, and Tamelapse is knocked into GA. Bigetron winning a massive early team fight here. A complete sweep. Exactly what you forecasted, Xscoundrel, as there simply isn't the team fight presence that there was in game 1.
Exactly. This is why the Orianna was a skeleton key. Like, she was the one thing that unlocked the team fight properly for Omega. And then that is why Kennen keeping hold of that slicing maelstrom in that gank was very heads up and really important. And they made it work. Beautiful play from Bigetron to get themselves back into this game. That was absolutely disgusting, that Kennen ultimate. And nothing, again, the team fight, once the misfortune is caught, there is no team fight presence for the Omega roster. They don't have anything that can give you team-wide impact, like a big ultimate that will be able to impact everybody. Whereas there are loads of different abilities on the side of Bigetron that can do that. Like the Aurelion Soul does it naturally. You have the Kennen ultimate, as we said before. So there is, that was just really beautiful play from Bigetron, and getting that first Drake, so important.
It's becoming more and more important that we be able to pronounce the Kennen's name, and I'm not sure how we're going to handle it. Harry will zone off the pressure onto that turret, and Omega don't get anything, and now the flank comes through from mid lane. There's your A-Soul stun. Looks like Tamelapse and Kobold just run for their lives, sacrifice their cow, and a Glacial Fissure interrupts Tamelapse's escape. They're down. Impressive tries to turn. All 3 players there for Omega go down, plus the Alistair. It's a 4-man wipe down on the bottom side of the map. Only BLC still alive for Omega.
My God. It really does feel like the team that drafts the better team fight is winning at the end of the day. And actually, I think that's kind of like a vibe for Wild Rift in general. In terms of tactical capabilities in this game, like what you can achieve. And we're going to look at the replay here, but it was kind of just a beautiful roam coming out from the Aurelion. So I think the only thing to really pay attention to is just how beautiful this Brawl ultimate was, because that essentially completely won the fight for them. But Tej, I think what I'm learning from Wild Rift and watching a lot of competitive is that there aren't many I would say alternative tactics other than just draft an insane team fight. And speaking of another team fight, we've got one going on here. Oh, they get the Kennen down super early though.
Big pick up, Tamelapse kiting back, will finally be able to cast the bullet time, and it shreds Harry, who will go down incredibly low. I don't believe they actually died though, so Tamelapse and the rest of Omega need to back away, but they don't get the kills. It's TFTP into chase. Impressive. There as well. We'll find one, but dives into a 1v4 and goes down immediately after, and now there's no jungler up, so there won't be any further progress.
No objectives left on the map to even worry about though here, Tej. So I think we can chill on that respect. But it was a good
Herald, then? Was that successfully snagged by Bigetron in the middle of all that?
I can't see. We'd have to, if the scoreboard stayed open for longer than 1 second, I'd be able to see. Let's just play a game of Rift Herald Roulette. We'll just to find out who.
Probably. I'm gonna say Bigetron picked up the Rift Herald given the positioning, and if I'm wrong, you can fire me, scoundrel.
Okay, cool. I don't disagree with you though. I think it probably was Bigetron given the positioning, but I will fire you anyway if it is not the case.
He's got Ignite ready to go. That was a very big team fight, and we're starting to see the organization of it, as we highlighted in the last game, where it was all about the Oriana. This time, it's the Misfortune versus Cannon paradigm. Their Tamelapse, or Azkameljar, goes down early in the fight, and
what?
You didn't like
Sorry,
it?
I'd like you to repronounce that exactly the same way.
That was a one-time trick. I only had one of those in me.
As
Melkajur.
Yeah, I love it.
Or
love
Led's the
love
sick ulti.
It was Bigetron, by the way. They did pick it up.
Job saved. Rift Herald will collide with the turret. That is going to be probably a turret and a half down here in the mid lane. We'll see if Bigetron want to get more ambitious than that. No, doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, again, you know when you look at compositions, and then we did it previously, I'm thinking, how do... Oh, that's an Aurelian Soul Engage. How do Omega actually win this? Maybe the picks? Oh my goodness.
Slicing Maelstrom! That is beautiful. Azrael will be knocked out of the fight, but the damage is already done. Huge stuns across the board, and Bigetron have won themselves another clean team fighting scoundrel.
Yeah, and they're chasing down the Shyvana. The Shyvana's chasing down. Double kill coming through. Garen's still alive, as is the Lee Sin.
Shouldn't get too much more dicey than this. We will lose our heroic cannon, who shall not be named. Very good turret aggro management, actually, there.
Yeah, absolutely. And the GA, you're seeing just how ridiculously OP that item is for 2,400 gold. It's way too cheap for what it is in this game, and it will be getting nerfed relatively soon. Everybody buying GAs left, right, and center. And again, like you said, lovely engage from the Kennen, getting a great ultimate off. And also, more importantly, because they're playing with a Shyvana, this has allowed them to essentially secure the Drake for free. Although I say that, it looks like they gave it up. Teleport's coming through. Yeah. It really, really feels like Omega want to force this one out. And Shyvana may have just given away a Drake, which is not a good thing when you're playing a Shyvana.
I need you to take a swing at this Kennen name. Because I don't know if you know this. This is the first time we've ever cast together. I'm literally dyslexic, so I have no clue.
Well, look, I'm not going to lie, mate. I'm not dyslexic, and I'm not sure it's going to be much better than what you were able to do.
It doesn't help.
Add Kamilakajura. There you go.
Wow. I think it's just the confidence in the accent. Anything a scoundrel says sounds legit. I don't believe you.
I would love to know how you're actually supposed to pronounce that.
Baron is up. It's a DDR combo. That's what it is. Baron is up, and it will be taken quite easily by Bigetron. I don't even think there's going to be a contest here from Omega. They are trying to get in now, but Harry is doing a great job zoning them off, and this actually could turn real bad. The dive into the backlines will be shut down by a Slicing Maelstrom Wombo combo. And we're going to lose the lone Omega Alistair, who tried to make that play happen.
Yeah, you're going into what I think is probably a Shyvana plus Leandri's Aurelian Soul. Like, that Baron's going to die quickly, and you saw it die incredibly quickly there as well. Yeah, that was brilliant play. You saw the TF turn. You saw the TF appear top, and obviously with the TF ultimate having a limited range, yes, he could definitely get to the fight, but probably not in time to have any kind of genuine impact. Really decisive play coming out from from Bigetron here, and actually they've put the pressure on. Their composition just works better in these sort of 5v5 engages, and we've been seeing that throughout this game.
We're back on Tamelapse here. I'm winging it with that name as well, but I feel a little more confident. As they take onto the Omega side, we theorized quite early into our first game. When the game was over, we thought Bigetron were completely out of it. Do you think we're in a similar state here, or is there still hope for Omega?
No, the problem is that the apart from Twisted Fate, the scaling kind of favors Bigetron. massively so with the Aurelion Soul, but also the rest of their comp scales really well. I feel like we're past the point in the game where the strength of the Omega roster can actually be worked out here. Plus the Baron, like you haven't got any genuine wave clear versus these Baron minions. Like Twisted Fate can only do so much, and Misfortune can only do so much. So yeah, I think this game. I'm probably looking towards a third already here, TJ. Something would have to go awfully wrong in a team fight.
You know what? The fact that the first Wild Rift game I've ever casted is going to Game 3, we take that as a win. Here is Bigetron. We've swapped to their POV, and they're going in for the final push. Turret under threat, the inhibitor turret, and the slicing maelstrom absolutely demolishes the team fight yet again, but Bigetron aren't able to dive further forward because the bullet time from Timelapse completely stymies their advance. So they'll get the turret and nothing more.
They got what they came for, though, but the engage might not be over. Twisted Fate looking for an opportunity. They grouped up. I like this. Just trying to stop that Twisted Fate from getting anything out of this this engage. But they got what they came for. They went for the inhibitor turret, and it was down. They didn't lose any lives. They didn't lose any GAs. That's a successful team fight if you're Omega.
Still seeing really good play from Timelapse, the AD carry, over there for Omega. You can see Omega hover at the very back of this fight, and then he unleashes the bullet time that just cancels the play. They still lose the turret. It's still real bad for Omega, but you're stopping the bleeding. You're putting gauze on the wound.
It wasn't as bad as it could have been, is I guess the way that I'm looking at that fight. But again, slicing Maelstrom up in 10 seconds. We have another fight around the dragon opening up with Shyvana obviously wanting to secure these dragons. Looks like they... Oh, wait, are we getting a potential... I mean, are they just all teleporting bot to go for a bot lane inhibitor here? It looks like that's the case.
Yeah. Bigetron.
Wait.
Had quite enough of the... Sorry, Omega have quite enough of this game. It's all on our heroic cannon, whose battery's running out. I warned you about this. It only got 10% battery left if we go to Game 3. It'll be big trouble for Omega. That's going to be a deep dive in. Bigetron trying to start the fight. We'll be able to find an Alistair, and the rest of this cleanup should be good. Harry's already in the river. Bigetron are going to be able to punish this attempted backdoor quite easily. Omega lose 3 of their players already. And that maybe should be game.
It's close to, at the very least. It was a Hail Mary play from Omega to go for the potential either base race or take an inhibitor turret. They were not set up perfectly for it. They didn't exactly have the quickest push in the world. It looks like it's going to be going for game, though.
Good bullet time. We'll zone things back. And actually, we lose our heroic cannon here, but Control's just ordering the Nexus. And that will mean it's tied up, Big Scoundrel. 1-1, and we critically have time for this cannon to charge his phone battery.
Oh, absolutely. He needs to. He's at 10%.
He better have like fast charging or something.
Dangerous territory right now here, TJ. But yeah, I think what's important to know about this game, again, it was teamfight difference, like really just compositionally. I didn't really see an actual inroad for Omega to get into this game without just winning lane really hard. Like I love the way they executed the lane swap, but this time we actually saw a cross-map trade, which was the most important thing that Bigetron could have done in this scenario. Instead of committing the Alistair into a useless lane swap with an Olaf, they actually went for the cross-map trade, like you mentioned on the first turret, that allowed them to keep pace in the game. They didn't get too far behind. And then when it came to the team fights, you saw it with the slicing Maelstrom. They just get trumped in the 5v5s. And when you fight for dragons so early on in the game, the 5v5s are so important. Like you need to have a coherent team fight, and Bigetron just didn't.
I was really impressed by Henry as well, the mid laner for Bigetron, who was able to constantly arrive in these fights with massive stuns as an initiator, which is slightly different than the role that Aurelion Sol plays in PC League of Legends right now. So I like seeing peak A Sol play yet again.
I think we got Dave on the line, ready to bring him back in here.
Ring, producer.
Yes, sir. Welcome back. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, that's going to be the first 3-game series of the entire Brawl Rift Asia Brawl. I'm actually excited. I can't believe... Go ahead.
Do you know how many Game 3s you've cast in Wild Rift so far? Because I know you've been doing some weekly tournaments.
This is the second one. The last tournament that we hosted, the C Invitational, we had like 2-0 stomp all the way to Grand Finals. And even the Grand Finals... it was like the other side only won one more game, and then it was still, I think, kind of like a stump. So today already shown the difference, in level of the team play, the gameplay. By the way, I just want to let everyone know, all the teams who had the chance to qualify for the open qualifier, we required all the players to be diamond and above minimum for Season 0. So this time, it's going to be a lot more organized, and you see the team fights, obviously they play a lot more, together, and the teams adjusted the enemy's opposition strategy really quickly, and you will see a lot of that throughout the entire group stage.
Yeah, I think I can already tell. Both of us, obviously, Excoundrel has far more experience than me, but we both come from casting pretty cool high-level League of Legends. Yeah. And being able to see already some of those same tactics being applied to MOBAs. I cast mobile MOBAs for like years, and I didn't see team fights that were that good. Yeah. So I'm already excited and impressed by what I'm seeing here.
I mean, Game 3 now. Any predictions for two of you?
Bigetron all the way.
I think. Do you think Bigetron? Yeah,
that was really.
I think I don't know which team to predict, because both of them have looked good. It's going to come down to draft. I'll be able to make a better decision when it comes down to draft. From what I've seen, though, it's just the better team fight comp wins. Like, so I'm going to have a look at the comps, see which one functions better in a team fight scenario, and say kind of put my money on whichever one does from that point onwards. But the kind of the attempted 1-3-1 or the attempted pick compositions that we're seeing aren't really working out. And I think the mistake that Bigetron made in that game is, if you're running with a Twisted Fate Misfortune and you're going into a cannon, don't fight for first dragon. Utilize what you do have an advantage in, which is split pushing. Like, send your TF to the other side of the map to get turrets, and then just back away, give up that first dragon if you have to, and then try and execute on them. Execute your advantage on the map elsewhere. True.
I think also they ran themselves, into a corner there, because the enemy does have Shyvana, and they really don't want to give that up to Shyvana. So I think that's why they were rushing it.
I agree. I agree. But it's not the end of the world, though, right?
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. Like, if you lose one.
Yeah, it's definitely not. Especially Shyvana. I think the dragon are really going to make a difference. In my opinion, is the Infernal Dragon. It's good for the entire team. And it's obviously for Shyvana, it makes her E into true damage, which is insane in team fights. But obviously, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the previous two games. And we're going to, again, take a short break while we get both teams ready and get Game 3 ready. If you're watching the stream, this tournament is brought to you by Trovo.live. Trovo.live is going to be the place where you want to watch all the tournaments for the Wild Rift Asia Brawl. Now, Trovo.live is Wild Rift official partner, and Trovo is also hosting a variety of tournaments, events for League of Legends Wild Rift, with a bunch of prizes for you to claim, including 30,000 Wild Core giveaway throughout the entire tournament. So make sure to use the link in the chat, guys, to head to Trovo.live. Do not hesitate, do not feel excited to go to Trovo. So with that, guys, I'm going to take a short break. I will see you guys in 5 minutes.